One thing that really confuses me, or I guess I say stomps me, is categorizing Obsidian's games in either the AAA or AA space. I don't really know where to put them. If y'all can kind of help me, some of you are real into Obsidian's games. I'm new here, guys. Never really messed with a lot of their games. Alpha Protocol I got on Good Old Games when the game was brought back. I don't know if many of you know, the game was taken away from Steam due to some copyright concerns. And so they got the game back, to Good Old Games, and I immediately copped it. It was actually quite a nice game in terms of the way it's set up. Really cool. Started playing it a little bit, but, again, time just kind of ran away from me. And I'm looking at their other titles. Fallout New Vegas apparently is a classic. Like, I haven't played this game. I do own it. But everything I've heard about this game, I don't think like I've ever heard a game so well talked about like this game has been. Maybe the other game that would probably be close is The Witcher 3 in the way people have positive things to say about the game. And then you have like Dungeon Siege. I've heard of it, but I've never played it. You have Pillars of Eternity. I've never played it. You have Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire. Never played it. Played a little bit of Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds 2 is coming. Pentiment, never played it. Grounded is a live service or service game of some kind and all. I make this particular statement because I wanted to go ahead and talk about this Paul Tassi's article where he said Microsoft is reportedly happy with Avowed sales so far. The reason I would love to know how to actually categorize these games is simply because the budget is probably going to help us distill this statement if, say, maybe they're just, blowing smoke, or if they truly are happy with the return that they've gotten so far from, this particular game. It's not, without any awareness that the game and its concurrent players were kind of low. I think somewhere around the 18,000 numbers. In terms of that did not, that did not go by past me. I did see that. But again, we've learned that concurrent players can be deceitful in a sense, especially when the game launches on Game Pass. And again, this genre of games is not necessarily something a lot of people would probably want to dive into. And again, ladies and gentlemen, this game also pretty much attracted a lot of negativity in terms of the audience once that artist that was involved in the game went out there and did their little spout about how they hated Elon Musk and blah, blah, blah. If you're going to make a game in today's day and age and your developers feel some kind of way, or maybe they prefer to be a lot more vocal in their activism, tell them to shut up just so that other developers might eat, because gamers are looking for a reason not to buy your game. I mean, if anybody saw Matt Piscatella's data where only 4% of players will buy multiple games a month, and in this month of February, when Monster Hunter World is coming out, and potentially some other games had already, come out in December and last, fall and all that, you don't want to go ahead and start talking nonsense. You're going to give away the sales to Japanese developers who always pretty much, at least when they present their game to their fans, it comes off in a respectful way where they just basically tell the fans what they're trying to do, and the fans basically see that as being acknowledged. Whereas these, sometimes our dear Western devs, you got to understand that the Japanese have you beat in customer presentation. So again, I was saying this months ago. Some people are like, well, developer. I say, you shut up. They just go take your activism to your, and go punch a wall somewhere. There are people who all work on the game collectively together. The success of the game is more than you. My 2 cents. It is always extremely difficult to judge whether the release of an Xbox game is a hit, of course, given obscured sales numbers and the question mark of day one Game Pass launches. What do you mean the question mark? It's the service. It's what you were promised. I think what's going on here is the gaming industry is so used to being entitled to not necessarily having to do a lot of work to figure stuff out, right? So a lot of the games media and games journalists and games writers and stuff, now that they've basically seen an insurmountable task in front of them, it's a little inconvenient. Plus, many of them prefer that the consoles, carry business on in a way that's, palatable to the old ways of doing things. But with Game Pass and the numbers, it just makes things a little weird. You said the only numbers we had to go on were Steam's concurrent sales list, and that can only tell us so much. However, there is a lengthy chat with Obsidian in Jason Schreier's recent Bloomberg newsletter talking about how many aspects of the game, and surprisingly, a comment on how it's going reception-wise and sales-wise. Schreier says that Avowed seems to be, in quote, worth the wait for Obsidian, and that players have raved about the game, and the company said it's happy with the sales so far. The company being Microsoft, and that's a good sign, given it's totally unclear what the expectations were for a smaller scale RPG like this. And if we're talking sales, that would be outside Game Pass subscriptions, most likely. The Steam numbers we do show show probably 20,000 or so concurrent peak by the end of the weekend here, similar to its last game, The Outer Worlds, which did not have a Game Pass launch, but it did have a PlayStation one. The Outer Worlds didn't have a Game Pass launch? How did I play it then? I don't know. I remember playing it. Maybe I played it when it showed up on Game Pass? Maybe. Am I dreaming? Maybe I played it when it came on Game Pass, or maybe I imagined playing it. Okay, I did play it. Okay, good. I was about to say, what? This was in 2019. I just played a little bit of it. I've never played an Obsidian game before. I did unlock one trophy. I was thinking to myself, there it is. I was thinking to myself, have I lost my mind? Okay. I played a tiny itsy bitsy bit of it. Okay, maybe I played it when it came on Game Pass because it launched. I got this trophy 10/25/2019. And if we go and look at when the game launched, The Outer Worlds release date. That's weird. I didn't buy the game. I don't own it. So the only place I would have played it would have been here via Xbox's. So I guess I played it the very evening that it launched. Okay, maybe he did make a mistake. Sometimes this can be a genuine mistake. I mean, I got this trophy 10/25. Look at this, guys. I got the same. It says I unlocked this trophy 10/25/2019, and it's still asking me to, buy the game as an option. So I guess I did play the game when it launched on Game Pass. Anyways, I'll keep reading. Perhaps it's a mistake. I don't know. It also tops Steam. Maybe I refunded it. Oh, it could be. Maybe I bought it and then I refunded it. It could also be that. I don't know. It's also topped the Steam sales chart for a time, and yet launch is still in top 10 right now. As for players raving about the game, I'm sort of. I guess it depends on what a rave is, but it does have a 78% mostly positive rating on Steam, though a lower 3.2 out of 5 on Xbox Store. The game has an 80 from critics on Metacritic, lower than most past Obsidian games, and a 6.6 user score. But this platform does not require a purchase to rate, and Avowed has been the center of the industry's latest culture war controversy over woke accusations. Okay, I don't seem to be able to capture what Mr. Tassi is gunning at here, and this is why I said that I'm not necessarily too aware of what this game's performance in terms of a big game will look like. It says, still, if Microsoft is happy, that's really all that matters in the end. Obsidian is also releasing Outer Worlds 2 this year. Somehow, I do believe Microsoft very much values the studio, as it has the ability to make good, cheaper, shorter games more often than the other super AAA studios that take say 10 years to make a new fantasy RPG. So this does seem to be happy ending here for the team, even if, sure, maybe it will like to see things go a few points higher on all fronts. We'll see how Outer Worlds 2 goes later this year. Maybe there's more to come. The future of Avowed itself, be it DLC or sequel. Okay. Man, that was a little difficult to kind of like work my way through because I'm not really seeing much in that regard. I got to go check my receipts to see if I actually did buy that game, which was the first Outer Worlds game, or if I'm actually dreaming that I actually did play it on Game Pass, which is kind of weird. I just checked my email and I searched Outer World, and what I find is an October 24th, 2019, 6 p.m. notification that the app Outer World has been connected to my Microsoft account. I can't find any record of me having bought the game. But it goes back to the conversation as to how we should categorize, or we could categorize these Obsidian titles. Because again, it doesn't seem like they have the AAA budget. Even Paul Tassi is actually highlighting that. And I think this is probably where things may actually work out for a game like this. Its price points too, though. Look at another interesting mathematical piece of this particular game called Avowed. Anyways, I'm talking about Avowed, by the way. Its price is actually, in my opinion, higher than what I would think a studio would charge for a game like this. They're asking $70 on Steam for the game. On the Xbox store, what are they asking for Avowed? If you wanted to go ahead and buy the game, like if you're an Obsidian person, you've played their games, there are people like that who would want to also go ahead and play Avowed. They're asking about the same, to be very honest. So, who knows? It may be that this is one of those games that really would do well in a very quiet way, but it also could be one of those things where the developers say the game is selling very well and it's premature. Like Ninja Gaiden's developers, when they were like, I said Ninja Gaiden's developers, Koei Tecmo, well, that's them actually, kind of, right? For Rise of Ronin, where they were like, oh yeah, this game is selling, pretty good, and then the sales dried up afterwards. That's also a possibility as well. So we'll keep an eye out. We'll see what's going on. What I do know though is that fans actually do like the game. The game has got a mostly positive rating so far. Yeah, some people. The person said the game is okay, but I don't feel like people understand it's a $70 game when they defend it. Yeah, this is where I'm pointing out to. This person said the world is empty. NPCs don't move. You can't interact with anything unless it's predetermined. For $20, yes. For $70, absolutely not. Okay, hold on. There are games that are set. I bought God of War Ragnarok, bro. And all the stuff you're talking about ain't in it. Again, different games, different genres, and so on and so forth. But it is what it is. So you have people that are basically saying, objectively, it's mid. Subjectively, I like it. This is what I was also telling you about some of these, big time Obsidian fans. They like Obsidian games. They'll buy it. This person said, in comparison to BG3, Baldur's Gate 3, or Kingdom Come Deliverance, this game feels a bit mid. But generally, I found myself continuously interested in playing it a little bit more and finding out what's next. So I guess some people took the hook. Some people like the game. This is what you're probably going to see in this particular regard. Now, here's the crazy thing too, right? Let's look at just the reviews, 5,000 in terms of reviews, and then look at another game, Marvel Spider-Man 2. Reviews are almost the same in a sense. Like if you think about the progression of reviews, this game has been out for 3 weeks. Avowed has been out for 5 days. So if this continues to track, then you can probably say there's almost comparative sales on both fronts in a sense, right? I mean, the PC market's a little weird, but I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this. I really don't know. And, most of us are just walking in the blind here. But we, however, can say that because of the scope of the project, it seems like more than anything else, if the game can pull off some sales, the game will probably be able to break even, including with Game Pass subscribers that are probably coming in for the month to maybe check it out. That could also bring in some revenue as well. But I think in due time, we'll figure out what's going on. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys' time and audience, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.